In the magical realm of Everlight, nestled between shimmering lakes and rolling hills, there was a garden unlike any other. This garden, known as the Garden of Serenity, was filled with flowers that glowed in the dark, each color dancing to the peaceful tunes of the breeze. At the heart of the garden lay the Rose of Everlight, which held the power to spread light throughout the realm. The rose was endowed with an aura of hope and tranquility, blooming eternally amidst the comforting hum of nature. Celia, a kind-hearted girl with dreams as big as the sky, was the caretaker of this enchanted garden. Her gentle humming and nurturing hands ensured the garden flourished, and her love for nature was reflected in the radiant blooms. One day, however, a peculiar shadow crept over the garden, dimming the light of the Rose of Everlight. The flowers began to lose their glow, and the once vibrant garden sank into stillness. Determined to restore the light, Celia set out on a quest to find the heart of the shadow. She knew that only by finding courage and compassion could she bring back the light to Everlight. Her journey took her through whispering forests and shimmering streams, where she met creatures of all sizes, an ancient wise turtle, a lively squirrel who's always in a hurry, and a family of fireflies that flickered warm memories of summer nights. Each creature she encountered offered a piece of wisdom. "Face your fears with bravery," the turtle said with a knowing nod. "Forgive the shadows and you'll find the light." The fireflies hummed peacefully around her. Celia listened and learned, carrying their gifts of wisdom in her heart. At last, she reached the edge of the enchanted forest where the shadow loomed large and dark. With a deep breath and a compassionate heart, Celia approached the shadow. Inspired by the lessons of her journey, she whispered a gentle lullaby about forgiveness and understanding. As the melody filled the air, the shadow slowly began to dissolve, revealing a hidden grotto filled with tiny glimmering crystals. These crystals responded to her song, catching the faint ray of the sun and spreading light throughout the realm. With the shadow lifted, the Rose of Everlight bloomed once more, its glow restoring the beauty and peace of the garden. The flowers danced happily with the wind, their colors swirling in joyful harmony. Celia's courage and compassion had not only restored the light to the garden, but had also filled her heart with gratitude and love. And so each evening as the day gave way to night, the Garden of Serenity glowed proudly under the stars, forever bright and beautiful in the realm of Everlight. For Celia, it wasn't just about restoring a garden. It was about learning that light and kindness can banish even the darkest shadows.
Once upon a time, in a peaceful kingdom nestled between blue mountains and shimmering seas, there lived a gentle lantern maker named Alden. Alden was known far and wide for crafting the most beautiful lanterns, each of which seemed to capture the stars in its glowing belly. His little shop in the heart of the village was a place of warmth and wonder, where villagers gathered to see the new creations and hear tales spun by the light of his lanterns. In the lantern maker's family was a kind-hearted princess named Lumi. Though she wore a crown, Lumi preferred spending her days at her father's side learning the craft of lantern making. Her fascination with light and its mysteries knew no bounds, and she imagined magical things every time a lantern was lit. One cool autumn evening, Alden gathered his family together and shared a special story of the lantern that granted wishes, hidden deep in the forest beyond the kingdom's borders. "This lantern," he whispered, "glows with a light that can only be seen by those who believe in its power to guide lost souls home." Princess Lumi was captivated by this story. Her compassionate heart felt a tug, a yearning to help those lost souls find their way. That very night, when the moon hung high like a silver lamp, Lumi decided to embark on a journey to find the lantern. With a satchel packed full of her father's finest lanterns and a map drawn from whispers and rumors, Lumi walked into the night, her path illuminated by countless stars. As the forest thickened, she met creatures who moved like shadows, gentle foxes, wise owls, and swift deer, all guiding her toward the heart of the woods. After a journey that felt both long and short, Lumi arrived at a clearing where the forest released its secrets. There stood the legendary lantern, dazzling and bright, hanging from an ancient tree with roots deep in the earth. Its light, soft and warm, touched the leaves and filled the air with serenity. Lumi approached the lantern with a heart full of hope. "Please," she whispered, "guide me to the souls who need help finding their way home." As if understanding her pure intentions, the lantern began to glow brighter, casting beams of light into the sky like 1,000 shooting stars. In those beams appeared the images of lost souls, each looking at Lumi with eyes full of longing. Some were travelers turned around in the wilderness, others were children separated from their families, and some were creatures looking for their clans. Lumi felt a quiet joy and knew what she must do. She took each lantern from her satchel and whispered words of love and guidance into them. With care and hope, she hung them around the clearing. As each lantern was lit, it floated into the sky, casting trails of light that seemed to tug at the stars themselves. One by one, the souls followed the glowing paths made by Lumi's magical lights, finding peace and safety at last. The forest seemed to breathe a sigh of relief as the souls returned home. Princess Lumi returned to her village, her heart happy and her spirit glowing like the lanterns she had sent into the night. Though many tales were told of her kindness and her journey, Lumi knew that true magic was not just in the lanterns, but in the love and compassion that guided them. And from then on, whenever the villagers saw lights floating in the sky, they knew Princess Lumi was watching, always ready to guide the lost souls home with her heart full of light and her lanterns burning bright.
In the gentle land of Radiator Springs, Lightning McQueen and Sally were known for their fast wheels and joyful hearts. One evening, they decided to explore the Whispering Woods, a mystical place rumored to hold wonders beyond imagination. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over the landscape, they ventured into the woods and soon stumbled upon something extraordinary. A series of glowing caves, radiating colors as vibrant as a painter's palette. The caves seemed alive, flickering and dancing with light, guiding them deeper inside. But as Lightning and Sally ventured further, their path was suddenly blocked by a group of mischievous gem trolls. These trolls were no ordinary creatures. They wore glimmering gems and sparkled as if they were part of the cave itself. To pass, you must solve the puzzles of color, chimed the leader, a troll with an exquisite emerald headpiece. The trolls began to explain that each cave was home to a puzzle based on colors. Lightning and Sally would need to match gemstones to the right cave colors to unlock the path to the Heart Crystal, a powerful gem that held the magic of the caves. Lightning McQueen revved his engine, ready for the challenge. Sally, being ever wise, suggested that they work together, using their speed and cleverness. They eagerly approached the first cave. The cave shone with shades of blue and purple, casting a velvet light over everything. Gemstones of similar hues lay scattered around. Purple amethyst to blue sapphire, Sally pointed out, noticing the pattern. With careful driving and precision, Lightning nudged the stones into place using his bumper. As the final sapphire settled into its spot, the cave door slid open. Inside the cave, brilliant images painted the walls, telling tales of ancient times, a time when gem trolls protected the Heart Crystal from all harm. With each solved puzzle, Lightning and Sally grew closer and formed bonds with the trolls, realizing that they were guardians, not adversaries. The next cave glittered with fiery reds and oranges. Lightning quickly realized this puzzle would require speed and agility. Red rubies to orange topaz. Lightning said confidently as he maneuvered delicately. With Sally's guidance, they completed the task, the strong bond between them evident as the trolls cheered their success. Finally, they approached the last cave. The glow was ethereal, and the colors blended into a soft, harmonious cascade. The heart crystal test lay within, radiating a soothing aura. For this challenge, Lightning and Sally knew they'd need to be in perfect harmony. Each gemstone was placed with care and precision, creating a melody of colors. The cave door opened, revealing the magnificent heart crystal. Its glow embraced them, filling the cave with warmth and peace. The gem trolls, now friendly companions, surrounded them with gratitude and laughter. They gifted Lightning and Sally a small piece of the heart crystal, symbolizing friendship and unity.
In the warm embrace of the Earth's equator, where the balmy air brushed softly against the lush canopy, a hidden world thrived. Here, only the biggest and rarest of creatures roamed, the dinosaurs. But these weren't the days of the wild, ancient past. These were curious, mysterious times. With eyes like twinkling stars and a heart full of wonder, she led a team of adventurers. Humans with their big ideas, mingled with the remnants of ancient giants. Among these humans was Zora, a courageous and skilled covert operations expert. Their mission was secretive and magical, to gather special genes from 3 of the most enormous dinosaurs left on Earth. These genes, everyone whispered, held the key to a wondrous medicine that could revive and heal like never before. As Zora and her team tracked through the Emerald Wilderness, the sound of gentle breezes was broken by a distress signal. In the shimmering lagoon that curled around the island, a family had been enjoying an exciting water adventure until crash. They found themselves at the mercy of a terrifying sea predator. Their boat overturned, and with it, their dream of a peaceful vacation. Zora spotted the family's struggle from afar and, with her team's help, pulled them to safety. Now, they all found themselves marooned on the secluded island, under the watchful eyes of ancient legends with scales as big as sails. As they waited for rescue, the island began to reveal its secrets. Creeping vines parted way, and an old path wound its way into the heart of the island, a place untouched for countless years. It was there, in the cool shadows, that they discovered something truly astonishing and wicked, a secret older and more dangerous than any had dared to dream.
Once upon a time, in the shimmering depths of the sea, there was a beautiful underwater kingdom ruled by King Triton. He had many daughters, but the youngest of them all, Princess Ariel, was a curious and adventurous little mermaid. Princess Ariel loved exploring the ocean, and one day, while swimming near the surface, she spotted a ship sailing across the waves. Drawn to the marvelous sight, she swam closer and watched as humans, creatures she had only heard of, sang and danced aboard the ship. Among them, she noticed a handsome young man who was driving the ship. His laughter, echoing across the ocean, captivated Ariel's heart. Suddenly, a terrible storm struck, causing the ship to capsize. Ariel, with her swift mermaid tail, quickly darted towards the shipwreck and rescued the young man who was about to drown. Taking him safely to the shore, Ariel realized she had fallen in love with the human prince. Though she knew that mermaids were forbidden from having contact with humans, Ariel was determined to be with the prince. She sought the help of the sea witch, Ursula, who agreed to turn her into a human. But there was a catch. Ariel had to give up her voice, her most treasured possession. With a heavy heart, Ariel became a human and walked on land to be with the prince. The prince, upon meeting Ariel, was curious but showed her kindness and patience. Even though Ariel couldn't speak to express her feelings for the prince, her actions spoke louder than words. Her sweet demeanor and warm smile melted the prince's heart, and he began to fall in love with her too. As the days went by, Ariel missed her life under the sea, her family and her voice. She was torn between her dreams and her reality. Seeing her dilemma, her father King Triton, with a heart full of love for his daughter, decided to help. He sought a peaceful agreement with Ursula and restored Ariel's voice in true mermaid form, understanding that love would find its way. With her voice restored, Ariel and the prince continued their friendship, sharing stories and laughter. Ariel would sing to him on moonlit nights, her voice echoing across the sea. Though she loved the prince dearly, she realized the importance of staying true to herself and appreciating her life under the sea. In the end, Ariel returned to the ocean, cherished by her family and remembered by the prince as a beautiful spirit who had been his friend. Princess Ariel learned that true love can exist across worlds, and that even if you have to let go, the bonds of love will always remain. Thus, Ariel's tale is a reminder that dreams and reality can coexist, and that being true to oneself is the greatest treasure of all. And with that, they all lived happily ever after, under the twinkling stars and the gentle lull of the seas.
Once upon a time in the magical forest, there lived a brave little fox named Mac. Mac loved exploring the enchanted woods, filled with towering trees and shimmering streams. One day, while chasing a butterfly, Mac stumbled upon something extraordinary, a path made entirely of glistening rainbow stones. Intrigued, he followed it until he reached a clearing where the sky seemed to shimmer above him. Looking up, Mac was astonished to find a floating castle suspended in the clouds. Amidst the billowing architecture, he could see a tiny dragon peeking through one of the castle's windows. "Oh no! The baby dragon is trapped!" Mac exclaimed, determined to help. As Mac pondered how to reach the castle in the clouds, a gentle laugh echoed in the air. Suddenly, a cheery cloud sprite named Nimbus appeared, her hair as fluffy as the clouds she lived in. "Need some help reaching the sky, Mac?" Nimbus asked with sparkling eyes. "Absolutely. Can you take me up there?" responded Mac with excitement. Nimbus twirled gracefully, creating soft cloud ladders that reached high into the sky. With each step, Mac felt as if he were walking on a pillow. They ascended higher until they arrived at the gates of the Sky Castle. "Be careful, Mac," Nimbus warned. "The castle is full of magic." Mac carefully tiptoed into the castle. Its corridors were adorned with twinkling stars, and magic filled the air. Eventually, he found the baby dragon, Melody, in a tower. Melody had accidentally clicked the enchanted lock and was now stuck inside. "Don't worry, Melody. We'll get you out," Mac assured, trying to sound braver than he felt. Using hints from the glowing stars, Mac solved the enchanting lock, making it click open. Melody fluttered its tiny wings in gratitude, nuzzling Mac with a warmth that glowed. Nimbus suddenly reappeared on a cloud cushion, announcing, "Time to get you both home." With a gentle swoosh, they floated down to the magical forest. Melody danced happily in the sky, her newfound freedom appreciated. Mac watched as Melody made her way back to her family. His heart swelled with kindness for this new friend. "Thank you, Nimbus. You made this journey magical," said Mac, grateful for her help. Nimbus blushed a lovely cloud hue and replied, "Thank you, Mac. I'm always here to help." As the day ended and the moon cast its glow over the magical forest, Mac lay down under the stars. He pondered the adventures he'd had, knowing that bravery and kindness always lead to magical outcomes. And And so, as the forest fell silent, Mac closed his eyes, dreaming of new discoveries and friendships in the enchanting world he loved.
Once upon a time in a cozy little town, there was a magical story that had unfolded many years ago during the twinkling nights of a snowy Christmas Eve. It was the tale of young Clara and her enchanted nutcracker. Now, the years had flown by, and Clara had grown into a graceful young woman, full of warmth and kindness. She had never forgotten the wondrous night when her simple toy nutcracker had come to life to defeat the wicked Mouse King and take her to the land of sweets. One gentle and breezy evening, Clara decided to return her childhood home, a place filled with memories of laughter and love. As she entered the vintage attic, her eyes landed on a familiar figure, a wooden nutcracker with a charmingly chiseled grin. Only this time, as the moonlight brushed against him, he began to shine brilliantly. To Clara's utter delight, the nutcracker transformed right before her eyes into a real boy, just as the delicate light of the stars filled the room. "Clara, you've come back!" exclaimed the nutcracker, his blue eyes dancing with joy. Yet, as he attempted to twirl, he hesitated and nearly stumbled, a flustered look crossing his face. "Oh dear, I've forgotten how to dance," he confessed. Clara's heart swelled with warmth and sympathy. She took his hand gently and said, "Don't worry, my dear friend. Dancing is just like dreaming with your feet. Let's rediscover your steps together." With her soothing words, she encouraged him to try again. Over the following weeks, Clara and the nutcracker boy would meet in the garden, surrounded by cheerful flowers that giggled in the gentle breeze. She taught him not just steps and movements, but how to feel the rhythm within his heart. Her laughter was infectious, and soon, the nutcracker found himself tapping, spinning, and leaping with growing confidence. "Remember," Clara would encourage, as the golden sunset painted the sky, "dancing is about joy and expressing yourself. Be one with the music." As the days passed, the nutcracker no longer stumbled. His confidence blossomed alongside the daisies in the garden, and the melodies that Clara hummed became a part of his soul. He lost himself in the beauty of dancing, letting the music guide his every step. Then one magical evening, during a town celebration in the blossoming springtime, Clara and the nutcracker boy decided to share the dance they had created together. Under the twinkling starlight, Clara's gentle, guiding presence beside him, the nutcracker moved with grace. The townsfolk watched in awe, their hearts warmed by the charming dance that seemed to tell a story of its own, a story of friendship, hope, and rediscovery. As the last note of the cello drifted through the air, the town erupted in joyful applause. The nutcracker boy, with a twinkle in his eye, whispered to Clara, "Thank you for bringing me to life, not just as a boy, but as a dancer at heart." Clara smiled, knowing that true magic lies in the joy we create and share with others. And so, each night, they danced under the watchful eyes of the stars, their spirits entwined with the music. For Clara and her nutcracker, every dance was a dream, and every dream was a step towards the horizon of endless imagination and love. And with that, beneath the shimmering blanket of stars, Clara and the nutcracker lived, loved, and danced happily ever after.
In a village high above the clouds, where mountains floated like boats in the sky, lived a quiet girl named Airy. She wasn't like the other children. She didn't dream of riches or castles. She dreamed of dragons. Every morning, she climbed to the tallest cliff, hoping to see one soaring through the sky. But the villagers feared dragons. "Stay away from the skies," they warned. "Dragons bring fire and storms." One day, a strange light streaked across the sky and crashed near the cliff. Airy ran to find a dragon, not fierce but wounded. Its scales shimmered like silver smoke. Its eyes weren't wild, they were scared. Airy whispered, "I won't hurt you." Slowly, the dragon let her near. She named him Flarewind. Every day she brought him water, herbs and song. He healed. He smiled. He flew. One morning thunder cracked. A black storm dragon soared above the village, roaring fire. The villagers screamed. Airy stood before them, riding Flarewind. "We don't have to fight," she cried. "Not all dragons are monsters." Flarewind lifted her into the clouds. Together, they flew to the storm dragon. She sang the lullaby she once sang to Flarewind. To her surprise, the storm dragon calmed. It circled once, and vanished into the mist. The villagers wept, not in fear but in awe. Airy the Cloud Whisperer had saved them, and from that day on, dragons were no longer feared, but honored.
Once upon a time, in a cozy little village nestled between rolling hills and whispering woods, there lived a curious young boy named Tom. Tom was a lover of stories, and his favorite pastime was reading books underneath the big, shady oak tree in his backyard. One sunny afternoon, as he was exploring the attic of his house, he stumbled upon a dusty, old book with sparkling gold letters on the cover that read, "The Enchanted Storybook." Intrigued, Tom blew off the dust and opened the book. As he turned the pages, he felt a strange, tingling sensation in his fingers. With each page he read, his eyes widened with wonder and excitement. For Tom quickly discovered that this was no ordinary book. The moment he read the words aloud, he found himself magically transported into the world within the story. In his first adventure, Tom landed in a lush, green forest, filled with singing birds and talking animals. He met a wise old owl named Oliver, who seemed to know everything about the forest. "Welcome, young adventurer," hooted Oliver. "These woods hold many secrets and challenges, but with courage and wisdom, you can find your way through." Tom spent the day befriending the animals, learning about their world, and solving tricky riddles that led him to a hidden treasure filled with books from ancient times. Oliver had guided him through, reminding him that learning and thinking critically were the keys to overcoming any obstacles. As dusk approached, the book's magic began to pull Tom back into his reality. But not before he whispered a promise to Oliver and the forest creatures to return soon. Back in his attic, Tom closed the book, his heart full of joy and newfound confidence. From then on, every night before bed, Tom would open the Enchanted Storybook, knowing that an incredible journey awaited him. Each adventure taught him something new, how to be brave, think strategically, and the importance of friendship. The Enchanted Book encouraged Tom and all the children who heard his stories to love reading, as it was a source of endless adventures and the greatest wisdom. And so, Tom's days were filled with wonder, and his dreams with the comforting thought that every story held the possibility of magic. Just like that old book, waiting to be opened, beckoning young minds to explore its pages and discover the magical worlds within.
In the bountiful kingdom of Zephyra, there lived an adventurous fisher girl named Maris. Known for her courage and kindness, she helped her fellow villagers with a warm heart and a ready smile. One peaceful morning, as Maris walked along the sandy shores, the gentle wind began to sing a melody so sweet and mysterious that it made her heart flutter with curiosity. The wind, carrying a voice as soft as a lullaby, called out to her, "Maris, follow my whispers and discover your destiny." Intrigued, Maris felt a pull towards the horizon. She hurried to her father, a wise and loving fisherman, sharing with him the tale of the singing wind. "Go," he encouraged her with a chuckle. "For who am I to stand in the way of the wind's promise?" With her father's blessing, Maris boarded a small boat and gently sailed upon the sapphire waters. The wind guided her safely through rolling waves and glistening tides. Days turned into nights under a sky sprinkled with twinkling stars, Yet Maris felt not loneliness but companionship with the ever-loyal sea and the poetic whispers of the wind. Finally, the wind carried her to a distant shore, lush with vibrant flora and bustling with joyful music. Here, she discovered the kingdom of Fernwell. The people of Fernwell revealed to her an astonishing truth. She was Princess Maris, heir to a forgotten throne, lost to time by a storm that separated her family when she was a baby. The melody she followed was a promise made by the wind to reunite her with her people. And here she stood, not just a fisher girl, but a princess destined to bring harmony. Maris learned the values of leadership and compassion from the wise rulers of Fernwell. She vowed to return to Zephyra, to guide with empathy and understanding. With the wind as her guide once more, she set sail for home, carrying with her the promise of peace. Her return was celebrated with joy and songs. Under her gentle leadership, the two kingdoms thrived side by side, united not by land but by the bonds of friendship and love. At the end of each day, when children lay to sleep under the shelter of the peaceful night, the wind would carry a gentle tune across Zephyra. The tune reminded all of the princess whose journey with the singing wind had brought them together. Thus ends the tale of Princess Maris and the Wind's Promise. In the heart of the enchanted kingdom, nestled between shimmering rivers and lush emerald forests, stood the grand clock tower. Its magnificent bells echoed through the skies, and its pinnacle reached up to tickle the stars. But deep within its ancient walls, a mystery waited to unfold. A mystery centered around Princess Solina. Princess Solina was a spirited young lady with hair as golden as sunlit fields and eyes like the endless sky. She had often heard tales of the clock tower from the kingdom's storytellers. On her curious nature one cloudy afternoon, she ventured into the tower to discover its secrets. As she stepped inside, the grand entrance closed with a soft thud, leaving her in dimly lit silence. Solina was neither afraid nor hesitant. Her adventurous heart saw the closing door not as a threat, but as an intriguing invitation to explore. She climbed up the spiral staircase, her steps echoing the rhythmic tick-tock of the tower's mighty clock. Suddenly, a soft glow illuminated her path. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice gentle and tinged with wonder. "I am the spirit of light," replied a voice that seemed to shimmer, even in its sound. A gentle flame appeared, dancing like sunlight on rippling water. "I dwell in this tower, watching over time and those who seek truth." Solina bowed respectfully. "I'm seeking," she said excitedly, "but I'm uncertain of what exactly I'm searching for." The luminous spirit understood. "You seek freedom, princess," the spirit murmured. "Freedom not just from this tower, but from doubts and fears. Let me guide you." With the spirit's light as her guide, Solina meandered through ornate corridors and past forgotten chambers. As they walked, the spirit shared stories of the kingdom's past, weaving tales of courage and kindness, of love and loyalty. The stories filled Solina's heart with warmth, casting away any shadows of fear or uncertainty. She listened, and learned that true freedom was never from places or walls but from within oneself. It was about understanding her own heart, embracing her strength, and nurturing kindness. Finally, they reached the topmost chamber, where an ancient clock ticked steadily, the heart of the tower. "It's time," the spirit of light smiled, and the stone at Solina's feet shimmered with an ethereal glow, revealing a hidden door to freedom. Stepping out from the clock tower, the refreshing night air greeted her along with the kingdom's enchanting moonlight. Solina inhaled deeply, feeling the liberating truth within her. She was free, not only from the tower but from her doubts. And the kingdom thrived, embracing the light of truth, just as Solina had learned. Through the trials of the clock tower and the guidance of a spirit, she discovered that true freedom was the strength of her spirit, the love within her heart, and the courage to believe in herself.
Once upon a time, in the glistening kingdom of Damara, lived a young princess named Anara. She was a kind-hearted girl with eyes as bright as the stars and hair that shimmered like spun gold. Her life was filled with laughter and love, but a shadow lingered in her heart, a mystery enveloped her family, and one day she vowed to solve it. Her mother, Queen Seraphina, had been turned to stone by a dark curse. Many of the kingdom's wisest sorcerers and bravest knights had attempted to free the queen, but none had succeeded. Now, Princess Anara held the hope that there might be a way to unlock this secret, hidden in the pages of an ancient prophecy. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the Sapphire Mountains, Anara wandered through the palace garden. Her footsteps led her to the pond where the lilies lay like jewels on shimmering water. It was here she had always felt a subtle magic touch her soul, a magic that whispered promises of hope. As she gazed into the water, she saw a gleaming swan gliding gracefully across the glassy surface. Its feathers sparkled like diamonds, and its eyes held a wisdom deep and true. Anara knew at once this was no ordinary swan, it was the sapphire swan mentioned in her mother's old tales. Princess Anara, the swan spoke in a voice as gentle as a lullaby, "You are chosen by destiny to reveal the truth behind the curse. Fear not, for you are not alone, the spirit of the sapphire swan shall guide you." With her heart filled with renewed courage, Anara listened as the swan explained that she must venture to the heart of the enchanted forest, where the ancient stones speak, and unravel the whispers long forgotten by time. The next morning, Anara set out with her loyal companion, a little squirrel named Tuffy. Together they stepped into the forest, beneath towering trees that reached for the heavens. The air was sweet with the scent of pine and the promise of new beginnings. As they traveled, they approached a circle of stones hidden deep under a canopy of leaves. The stones were entwined with vines and flowers, yet glowed with an ethereal light. "Listen, Anara," Tuffy squeaked with excitement, "the stones will speak if you ask with your heart open." Anara asked with sincerity, her voice a soft, musical whisper, "What is the secret of the curse that binds my mother?" The stones hummed gently before a voice emerged. "Two hearts were meant to be one, but the darkness stole their song. Unite the hearts, and the curse shall shatter." Understanding flooded Anara's mind, and she realized the curse was born from a sorrow that needed healing. She thanked the stones, and the sapphire swan led her to a lake where a gentle breeze carried an ancient melody. Following the sound of the song, Anara discovered her mother's stone figure entwined with a statue of a man she had never seen. Her father, King Elian, lost to the ages as another victim of the curse. It was then Anara knew that to lift the curse, a song of unity must fill the kingdom once more, a song of family, love, and perseverance. She sang with all her heart, and as her voice soared over the land, the statues softened and began to glow with life. Anara watched as her mother and father were freed from their stone prison. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Frostvale, where snowflakes danced like little stars and the nights were painted in magical silvers and blues, there lived a young princess named Noelle. Her hair was as white as fresh snow, and her laughter soared like jingle bells over the snowy hills. But what made Princess Noelle truly special was her magical gift. Born on a snowy morning, Princess Noelle had the enchanting power to bloom flowers even during the coldest winters. The kingdom of Frostvale turned into a colorful delight as she wandered the royal gardens. This special ability was known far and wide, and travelers came from all corners of the world to witness the miracle of Frostvale's blooming winter. Yet, while the people were joyful, deep in the castle, the queen worried about unwanted eyes, greedy for its magic. One chilly night, Princess Noelle sat by her frosted window, gazing at the snow-covered village below. She saw the villagers, wrapped in furs and scarves, trudging along the paths, the icy winds biting at their cheeks. Noelle wished her flowers could warm hearts. And so, with a sparkle in her eye, Princess Noelle set out to discover if her magic could be used to melt hearts frozen by sadness or fear. The secret garden seemed to come alive as Noelle began her adventure, whispering to each flower to share their beauty. Princess Noelle wandered through the village, gently placing a single flower wherever she was met with a frown or a tear. And, just like magic, smiles bloomed to match her flowers. Those who received a flower felt their worries ease, feeling lighter and brighter. As the days went by, more and more hearts melted away their chill, and the kingdom of Frostvale, not just the garden, began to glow with warmth and hope. The villagers came together, telling stories around the fireplaces about the kind princess and her winter blossoms. Even deep in the royal castle, where the queen worried, laughter began to fill the halls. Princess Noelle learned that sometimes the greatest gift of all isn't magic, but the ability to touch hearts with kindness and hope. She thanked her flowers for their promise. Every night, after a long day of gifting warmth, Noelle would visit her secret garden, thanking her flowers for their silent promise to shine through the frost. As the village slept beneath its blanket of snow, Princess Noelle lay down to rest, knowing their hearts were warm. Thus, fairy tale dreams filled their slumbers, and Frostvale was a kingdom glistening with dreams of hope and joy.
Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Verdantia, there lived a kind-hearted princess named Kaya. Princess Kaya was not only adored for her radiant smile, but was also cherished for her love and protection of the enchanting forests that bordered her kingdom. These forests were special. Every night, as the clock struck midnight, the trees and the wildlife came alive with melody. The leaves of the trees danced to the rhythm of the wind, and the owls sang in harmony with the crickets. It was a symphony of nature that lulled the kingdom into peaceful dreams. But one evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and night began its reign, Princess Kaya noticed something unusual. She wandered onto her balcony and listened closely. The forest seemed quieter than usual. Instead of the usual symphony, there was only the whisper of the wind and the rustle of the leaves. Determined to restore the forest's melody, Princess Kaya donned her emerald cloak, the color of the deepest forest, and set off into the night. Her mission was clear. She had to uncover the cause of the creeping silence. With each step, the moonlight guided her path through the winding trails of the forest. She soon arrived at the heart of the woods, where the oldest and wisest tree named Elderwood stood. "Dear Elderwood," Kaya pleaded, "what has happened to the melody of the midnight forest?" Elderwood's leaves shimmered under the moonlight as he replied in a gentle, rustling voice. "Princess Kaya, a shadow of silence has crept into our forest. It steals the songs from the wind and hushes the whispers of the night creatures. To stop it, you must decode the melodies hidden within the midnight air." With newfound determination, Princess Kaya listened again, this time more closely than ever. She closed her eyes and let the forest's faint sounds reach her ears. A gentle hum, a soft chirp, and the quiet resonance of rustling leaves. As she deciphered each note, she realized that these fragmented melodies held secrets of ancient spells needed to banish the silence. Kaya began to hum softly, blending the notes she had decoded. Her tune mingled with the scattered sounds, and the shadow of silence began to dissolve. retracting back into the dark corners from whence it came. As the spell was completed, a wondrous sound erupted across the forest. The midnight symphony returned, richer and more vibrant than ever before. Owls hooted with joy, crickets chirped in jubilant delight, and the trees swayed blissfully to the tune of the forest's reborn melody. Princess Kaya smiled warmly, her heart full of joy and peace. She had succeeded in her quest to protect the magical musical harmony, and with the forest singing once again, its enchanting tales continued. And so, Princess Kaya returned to her castle, knowing that whenever the forest faced danger, she would always be there, ready to decode its melodies and reignite the musical magic that brought serenity to the land. So ends the tale of Princess Kaya, a brave protector of the wilds, who ensured that no silence ever encroached upon the melody of the midnight forest again. In a kingdom nestled high among the misty mountaintops, there lived a kind-hearted princess named Asha. Her heart was as vast as the valleys below, and her smile as radiant as the sun that kissed the peaks each morning. Princess Asha loved nothing more than the tales her grandmother whispered to her under the starlit sky. One evening, as the kingdom settled into a gentle slumber, a soft, melodic sound drifted through the air. It was the enchanting music of the Star Dancer, a legendary spirit, known to appear only when the stars aligned perfectly in the evening sky. Curious and full of wonder, Princess Asha ventured out of the castle to find this mysterious sound. She tiptoed through the moonlit gardens, her delicate gown trailing softly behind her. As she entered the clearing at the edge of the forest, she saw the Star Dancer, shimmering and spinning in a symphony of light and music. The Star Dancer beckoned her, and Asha followed, mesmerized by the graceful motions and the twirling magic. "Princess Asha," the Star Dancer spoke, "I can see that your heart is filled with kindness and a desire for peace. Tonight, I will share with you the ancient dance of unity. It is a dance so powerful that it can bring harmony between two lands that have long been at odds." Asha's eyes widened with amazement. For years, her kingdom had lived in turmoil with its neighboring land, each side believing they were rightfully guarding their own territory. Perhaps tonight, Asha could discover the secret that would change everything. The Star Dancer's movements seemed to communicate directly with her heart, showing her the steps and gestures as if it were written solely for her. As Asha danced, the stars above glimmered brighter. An ethereal mist enveloped the two. With each step, Asha learned the grace of understanding, the twirl of empathy, and the glide of forgiveness. The dance revealed how every move was interconnected. Encouraged and heartened by the Star Dancer's guidance, Princess Asha decided to host a grand gathering inviting both kingdoms to witness the dance of unity. She believed that seeing the dance with their own eyes, they would understand. The night of the gathering arrived, and under the glow of the stars, Asha danced with every ounce of love she held. The Star Dancer appeared once more, joining her in a beautiful duet that twinkled and swirled like a dream. As the dance unfolded, hearts began to heal, and whispers of reconciliation spread through the crowd. The poem of movement spoke to their souls in ways words never could. From that night on, the two lands united under the shared sky, letting go of their old grievances. Princess Asha soon became celebrated not just for her royal heritage, but for her bravery and wisdom. She led her kingdom into an era of peace and prosperity. Her grandmother often smiled at her, knowing that her little dreamer had grown into someone who understood that true power lay not in ruling, but in loving. And so, every year when the stars aligned just so, the kingdom would gather to dance the Star Dancer's dance, reminding themselves that peace is achievable when we open our hearts to unite with others.
In a lush and enchanting forest, where the leaves tinkled like tiny bells in the gentle breeze, there lived a young girl named Leora. Leora had been raised by the gentle forest healers, who taught her the magic of herbs and the language of the winds. Leora's hair cascaded down her shoulders like a waterfall of amber sunlight, and her eyes held the deep wisdom of the woods. She had always felt a special connection with the forest, as if the trees whispered secrets meant only for her. One soft and starlit night, while exploring a part of the forest she had never seen before, Leora noticed a soft glow emanating from a nearby grove. Curiosity filled her heart, and she quietly tiptoed toward the light. There, nestled gently in the moss, was a crown that shimmered with a pale golden light. It seemed to hum with ancient magic, and as Leora bent down to examine it, a sense of calmness washed over her. "It is yours," a voice seemed to whisper through the rustle of leaves. Leora hesitated, but her fingers reached out, and the instant she touched the crown, she felt a warmth spread through her fingertips, traveling straight to her heart. Confused and overwhelmed, Leora returned home to the healers. As she approached, it was as though the forest itself seemed to part, revealing a path she had not seen before. At the heart of this path was an ancient oak tree, beneath which the healers stood waiting, wise and serene. "You have found it," Elder Mari, the head of the healers, said with a smile. "The crown you hold is your royal inheritance. You, dear Leora, are the hidden princess of this realm, destined to guide and protect these lands." Leora's heart fluttered with confusion and excitement. "But I've only known life here in the forest," she said softly. "What does being a princess mean for me?" Elder Mari placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "It means, dear one, that you are to marry your love for the forest with the wisdom of a ruler. Your path is not set in stone, but with your kindness and grace, you will find your way." For weeks after, Leora pondered her newfound identity. With the crown safely tucked away, she spent her days learning from the healers, watching the way the trees danced to the song of the wind. She listened to the birds share tales of faraway places. Over time, Leora grew into her role, with the forest as her guide. She discovered that the animals and spirits around her were eager to help her govern her people. Every night, she would sit beneath the stars, the crown resting beside her, and speak to the trees. "I will honor you, my home," she would say, "and I will protect this land with all the love I have." And so, in the gentle embrace of the forest, Leora became a wise and beloved princess, cherished by all who basked in her gentle light. As the moonlight kissed the crown, its glow was a reminder of her humble beginnings and the strength of her heart, the heart of a true princess.
Once upon a time, in a village near a dense forest, there lived a little girl named Little Red Riding Hood. She always wore a red cloak made by her grandma, which is why she got this cute name. One sunny day, Little Red Riding Hood's mom asked her to take a basket of delicious treats to her grandma, who lived on the other side of the forest. Little Red Riding Hood happily agreed and set off on her journey. As she walked through the forest, she was so excited to see all the beautiful flowers and hear the birds singing. But she didn't notice that a sly wolf was watching her. The wolf came up to her and asked, "Where are you going, little girl, Little Red Riding Hood?" Being so innocent and trusting, told the wolf all about her grandma and the yummy food in her basket. The wolf had a bad plan in mind. He took a shortcut to Grandma's house and got there before Little Red Riding Hood. He knocked on the door and pretended to be Little Red Riding Hood. When Grandma opened the door, the wolf jumped on her and swallowed her whole. Then he put on Grandma's nightcap and laid in her bed, waiting for Little Red Riding Hood. When Little Red Riding Hood finally arrived at Grandma's house, she was very surprised to see what looked like her grandma in the bed. "What big ears you have!" she exclaimed. The wolf replied, all the better to hear you with, my dear." "What big eyes you have," she said. The wolf answered, "All the better to see you with, my dear." "What big teeth you have," she cried. The wolf jumped up and said, "All the better to eat you with." Just then, a hunter was passing by. He heard Little Red Riding Hood's screams and rushed into the house. He quickly shot the evil wolf before it could hurt Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood was so happy and thanked the hunter again and again. Grandma came out of the hiding place in the closet. She kissed Little Red Riding Hood over and over and thanked the hunter for saving them both. The three of them were so happy that they decided to have a party right away. Grandma gave the hunter and Little Red Riding Hood a big glass of fresh milk, and she had one too. They ate up all the cakes and fruits that Little Red Riding Hood had brought. From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood learned a very important lesson. Never talk to strangers and always stay on the path when walking through the forest. Now, here's a fun question for you. If you were Little Red Riding Hood, how would you have recognized the wolf's disguise? Leave your ideas in the comments below and let's see who has the most creative answers. Sweet dreams, little ones. And always remember to be as brave as Little Red Riding Hood and as smart as the hunter. Good night.
Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and towering trees, there lived an adventurous girl named Lily. She was 8 years old, with twinkling blue eyes and hair as golden as the summer sun. Lily loved exploring the woods behind her house, where she often imagined magical creatures hiding beneath the trees. One evening, as the sky began to blush with the colors of sunset, Lily set out on her usual walk. The air smelled sweet with pine, and the soft breeze whispered secrets only she could hear. But tonight felt different. The woods seemed more alive, more magical. As she wandered deeper, Lily noticed a soft glow shimmering through the trees. Curiosity bubbled inside her, and she followed the light until she reached a small clearing. At the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak tree with leaves that glittered like gold. Suddenly, the air around her filled with laughter, tiny, bell-like giggles. Startled, Lily looked around, and to her amazement, she saw tiny, winged creatures flitting through the air. They were fairies. Their wings sparkled with every color of the rainbow, and their dresses shimmered like stars. "Welcome, Lily," said a voice, as a fairy with lavender wings flew close. "I'm Ivy, and we've been waiting for you." "Waiting for me?" Lily asked, her heart racing with excitement. "Why?" "The enchanted forest needs your help," Ivy explained. "There's a magic crystal deep within the woods that keeps our forest alive and sparkling. But something terrible has happened. The crystal's light is fading, and we can't fix it without a brave human's help." Lily's eyes widened. "What can I do?" Ivy smiled. "You're kind, brave, and you have a pure heart, just what we need. The only way to restore the crystal's magic is to collect 3 enchanted items: the feather of a phoenix, the dewdrop of a moonflower, and the scale of a silver dragon. Will you help us?" Without hesitation, Lily nodded. She wasn't just on a simple walk anymore, she was on a magical quest. Ivy led Lily through a secret path only fairies knew, and soon they reached a grove where a majestic phoenix perched on a branch. Its fiery feathers glowed in the twilight. "Speak kindly to the phoenix, and it will offer you its feather," Ivy whispered. Lily approached the phoenix and bowed politely. "Great Phoenix, will you lend me one of your feathers to save the forest?" The phoenix looked into Lily's eyes, then gently plucked a shimmering feather and handed it to her. "May it light your way," it said in a deep, melodic voice. With the feathers safely tucked away, Lily and Ivy continued their journey. Next, they arrived at a glistening pool where moonflowers bloomed beneath the stars. Lily carefully cupped her hands and collected a single glowing dewdrop. It sparkled like liquid moonlight. Finally, they reached the silver dragon's lair. The dragon was enormous, but its eyes were kind. "I know why you've come," it rumbled, and from its silvery scales, it offered one that shone like a mirror. "Use it wisely." With all three items in hand, Lily and Ivy rushed back to the clearing where the crystal sat, its light now barely a flicker. Ivy sprinkled the phoenix feather, the moonflower dewdrop, and the dragon scale over the crystal, and suddenly, a brilliant light burst forth. The entire forest lit up with magic, flowers bloomed, trees sparkled, and the fairies danced joyfully in the air. "You did it, Lily!" Ivy cheered. "The enchanted forest is saved, thanks to you." Lily smiled, feeling warmth in her heart. As the fairies twirled and sang around her, she knew she'd never forget this magical adventure. As the night deepened, Ivy and the fairies escorted Lily back to the edge of the forest. "Thank you," Ivy said. "You're always welcome in the enchanted forest." With one last wave, Lily returned home, her heart full of magic and wonder. She knew that even though the adventure was over for now, the magic of the forest, and the fairies, would always be with her. And that night, as she drifted off to sleep, she dreamt of glittering wings, glowing crystals, and the sparkling fairies of the enchanted forest.